The ninth-ranked Illinois Fighting Illini travel to play the Indiana Hoosiers in Bloomington this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a night kickoff in Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. Beautiful weather, 76 degrees Fahrenheit, 2-mile-per-hour winds. Indiana right now is a 4.5-point favorite. This could be the game of the week. Before I resume, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. I love your engagement. Don't just hit the notification bell for my main channel. Hit the bell for any team playlists attached to the video if interested. If your team is not there or you're not interested, please navigate to my home channel page. Check out the playlists tab. Your team will be there if it's a Power 4 team. And hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I cover that specific team. If you want additional content, bonus content, sign up as a paid member of the channel with the appropriate tier. I also give priority reply to members. And check out our Discord server. It's free. You get to interact with me. I get to pop in there. And the Discord server will notify you when we go live or when I upload videos. In terms of rankings, AP rankings, this should be the game of the week. I don't know why College Game Day went to Florida, Miami. Michigan, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Auburn, Illinois, Indiana, I think were much better choices for destinations. But I also understand wanting to see a strong Miami team and a Florida team that's probably a little bit better than their 1-2 record. Anyway, let's talk about this, which this is a game where I might consider going to it since it's close enough to me. It's at night, and we'll just have to see the ticket prices just because I'm trying to go to some bigger games this year. I cannot stress how important this matchup is for both of these programs. Can't stress it. There's no way you can exaggerate how important, how critical it is for these teams to win this game. Can't exaggerate it. Reason number one, both of these teams have, in terms of talent, tougher matchups for the rest of the season, and also have to play a Big Ten schedule. So if you lose this game as Illinois or Indiana, you're probably, if you're Indiana, losing to Oregon and Penn State. If you're Illinois and you lose here, you're probably losing to one of USC, Ohio State, maybe both. And for both of these teams, Illinois, they have to play Washington on the road. Indiana, they have to play Iowa on the road. Illinois has to play Rutgers, for example. Sounds like an easy opponent, but Rutgers is not 2010's Rutgers. They're 2024, 2025 Greg Schiano Rutgers, who's had him going bowling every year since 2023. Indiana has to play Michigan State at home, and Purdue is no longer the same pushover they were last year. So nothing is guaranteed with these teams, especially given their talent profile. So for them to lose this game, that would probably axe any hopes of going to the college football playoff, if I'm being honest here. Number two, Illinois has not had the opportunity, at least as of yet, or they haven't taken advantage of it, to really beat a team of this caliber. Correction, they've had the opportunity, they just haven't followed through and beaten a team of Indiana's caliber yet. Indiana, likewise, has not beaten a top 10 team under Curt Cignetti. And in power ratings, as it stands right now in efficiency metrics, they haven't beaten a team of this quality either. We'll see if Illinois, in terms of power ratings, is better than 2024 Michigan. 2024 Michigan, power ratings-wise, finished ahead of 2024 Illinois per FPI, but 2025 Illinois brings everyone back. As of right now, they're projected to finish much higher than 2024 Illinois. So we'll have to see. Things change year to year, and when you bring back a lot of starters and players, that helps in your team making a big leap. But Indiana did something similar. They didn't bring back quite the production Illinois did. They used the portal more because they had to, but they brought back Mikail Kamara, D'Angelo Pons, Aiden Fisher, Elijah Surratt, Carter Smith at tackle. They returned Kalen Black at running back, Omar Cooper Jr. at wide receiver. Illinois, they returned quarterback Luke Altmaier, running back Aiden Lowry, tackle J.C. Davis. In fact, they returned much of their offensive line, a vast majority of it, much more than just J.C. Davis. They return Gabe Jacas at edge, Dylan Rosiak, Malachi Hood at linebacker, Alec Bryant, and then at DB, Torrey Cox Jr., Miles Scott, Xavier Scott, Caleb Patterson, and Matthew Bailey. Also, shout out Tanner Arkin at tight end for Illinois and Josh Krutz at center. So these are veteran-laden teams. These are two coaches that do more with less. And they're both power-rated top 25 per FPI. Illinois is a 13.5 rating, which means they're 13.5 points better than the average college football team. Indiana's a 15.6 rating, which is 16th. I think Indiana's trenches, the O-line, D-line, their DBs, really their defense as a whole plus the O-line are their best aspects this season. Maybe one could say Fernando Mendoza and the receivers, but I want to see a little bit more out of them. For Illinois, I've been impressed with their D-line, but I want to see more out of it. I know their linebackers and defensive backs are ridiculously good, especially DBs, and I know Altmaier's a stud. O-line, receivers, running back, shown some talent, but I want to see more out of them because they've shown some inconsistency as well. There's still things each of these teams can clean up. There's reasons to expect them to get a little bit better as the year goes on, as they do have, I think, a much better depth situation than they did last year. You look at their points per play, some more, advanced analytics than just yards per game or yards allowed per game, which I think are to a certain degree overrated. These are better, especially as the season goes on. Illinois is a 0.434 points per play margin. It means for every one play they run, they score 0.434 more points on that given play compared to one of their opponent's plays. For Indiana, it's a 0.304. Offensive points per play, similar, both above a 0.5. Defensive points per play, though, allowed. Illinois only allowing a 0.151. Indiana allowing a 0.228. FCS data is not included. So Illinois' week 1 game, Indiana's week 3 games are not factored in. Huge part of the reason why Illinois is beating Indiana here in the points per play margin is their turnover margin has been much higher than Indiana's, and that is something to keep in mind here. I do think if one team is going to win the turnover battle here, it will be Illinois. I do think that. I mean, they are great at forcing turnovers. They have created their own luck in a lot of ways. I've talked about it on my channel before. Some accuse me of being a hater due to it, that Illinois is a team that has balls bounce their way and was very lucky last year, and that is factually true. But they also, I'm going to give them credit where it's due, they have created their own luck. Bielema's done a wonderful job punching above his weight class. It's why Illinois had their first 10-win season since 2001 when they shared a Big Ten title under Coach Ron Turner. Finished 10-1 regular season, went to, I believe, the Sugar Bowl where LSU blew them out, but it was a wonderful year they had. It was their best season since that year, or maybe the 2007 year where they went to the Rose Bowl to play USC. How good is Illinois in the line of scrimmage is the biggest question I have for the Illini. And for the Hoosiers, are they really the wagon that, based on film and the advanced analytics, many think they could be, and I actually think they are? Who is Indiana? Because Illinois is going to be their biggest test by far. Indiana's also going to be Illinois' toughest test, but at least they've played a Power 4 opponent in Duke, who, shout out to Duke for losing to Tulane, although Tulane may also beat Ole Miss this coming week. Let me know in the comments section if you want me to preview, at least briefly, that Ole Miss-Tulane game, or if you're not interested, then I won't do it. But those are the questions for each of these teams, the key questions. Some other storylines to follow. Coaching. I love both of these staffs. Particularly love Indiana's. You guys know I think it's a top 10, top 5 coaching staff, but Illinois is also a staff that deserves its respect. Who does more with less here in a game between two teams that are punching well above their talent class? Which offense holds up better against two defenses that look mean, fast, nasty, and are hyper-intelligent and senior-laden? Between the wide receivers, Indiana struggled before getting separation against talented defensive back groups, which Illinois has, but also Illinois no longer has an NFL receiver in Pat Bryant, at least from what I can tell. So do they get separation from, D'Angelo Pons, Lewis Moore, those defensive backs that Indiana has? The defensive fronts for both of these teams, Indiana's got Mikail Kamara, Tyrique Tucker, Mario Landino, Stephen Daly, Dominique Ratcliffe. Love what IU has up there. Don't to the same degree. I don't quite love what Illinois has up there, but James Thompson Jr., Tamiwa Duriaji, Gabe Jacas, who's technically an outside linebacker, but, kind of built like a defensive end, really a do-it-all player there. They have players there too. And defensive front also includes linebackers, which Illinois is really good at. Same with Indiana. And coverage discipline. Who covers better? Because both of these teams have really good quarterbacks and underrated wide receivers. So you're going to need to be disciplined. You're going to need to cover well, not commit a bunch of holds or pass interferences. And if someone beats you, then you pull out the PI card and yank them down. Who's more disciplined? Who makes fewer mistakes? Who is the better team? And can Illinois, I know Indiana doesn't exactly have elite home field advantage, but they're going to fill up their stadium. This is going to be a sold-out crowd. It's going to be as loud as possible. This is Indiana versus Nebraska redo from last year. That's what this is going to be, except it's going to be at night. You're going to have probably a lot of drunk Indiana fans, if we're going to be honest. And Indiana, they have not, again, beaten a ranked opponent under Cignetti. So even though they're coming off a successful year, they are going to want this one badly. Again, this can be a program perception-changing win for Indiana. It can be for Illinois too, but this is a high-stakes game for both of these teams. I love it so much. I'm going to lean into my prediction here, and I'm going to keep it a little bit harsh because I think that's how this game is going to go. I've said for months now, I think Indiana's a top 10 quality team. I think that Illinois is finally a top 25, top 30 quality team. Last year, they were more top 40, top 50 that won a bunch of close games, much like 2023 Iowa. But the law of close games, where you typically regress when you win a bunch of those in terms of record, would come back to bite them. That doesn't really apply in this game, in my opinion, because I don't think this game will be close. I think that Indiana is going to win incredibly decisively. They are going to come out, they're going to punch harder, they're going to hit harder, they're going to be faster. It's going to, here's what it's going to look like for Illinois. It's going to be, and this will be satisfying for Indiana. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll eat my crow. I was wrong about Illinois and Duke. I'm already probably taking hate for that in the comment section, but it is what it is. For Indiana, this will be satisfying because I think they will do to Illinois what Ohio State did to them, where it's going to be at home and they are just they're going to own Illinois in so many ways that Illinois is going to walk into the stadium thinking, what happened there? And it's not because Illinois is not an above average good FBS team. They are. I'm that high in Indiana. Indiana's looked better every week. Another thing to consider is while Illinois' defensive front is better than it was last year, they are not a defensive front, whether it's due to three-down defensive linemen or main D tackle Curt Neal not being quite built like a Big Ten defensive tackle. And again, Illinois' strength is more so their secondary, quarterback, wide receivers. As much as they want their strength to be O-line, I've had Illinois fans I'm close to tell me they're very concerned about the O-line. I am from what I've watched. I'm not concerned with IU's O-line. IU's O-line is big, it's fast, it's deep. You would think they recruit much better or had a much better talent composite just solely looking at their offensive line and defense. They're averaging 300 rushing yards per game, and they're not getting explosive plays. I think they're hiding some things for this matchup here. So Indiana's going to win. They're going to cover. They're going to win big. By the second quarter, Indiana will lead by double digits, or maybe it will just be by a touchdown, but it will feel like they're leading by more. And then second half, Cignetti will totally take over. It'll be a huge win for Indiana. If I happen to be wrong, I'll eat it, and it will be a big win for Illinois. It's a very, very high-stakes game, and I just think the only edge Illinois has is special teams. I think that Indiana, when factoring in development, is more talented. They have the better staff. They have the better rushing offense, defense, passing offense, passing defense. The only individual position I would give Illinois right now over IU, like really, is tight end. Everything else, I think is strongly Indiana, outside of maybe you could debate quarterback. I really do think Altmaier is that good. And you could also debate parts of the DB, too. But I think Indiana's going to win this game very decisively, so I'm picking them to win, to cover. They're ranked top 20, and that's good, but I think Indiana is a top 10 quality team. Not a national title team. They're not there, but they're in that next tier below where they're not going to win it all, but they'll basically beat everyone else who also isn't going to win the national title. And honestly, to close out this segment, they can beat some teams who have a higher ceiling than them. There are some teams who can win it all, while Indiana can't because those teams have more talent, that I would favor Indiana to beat from a coaching edge and maybe roster matchup standpoint. I very strongly believe that Indiana is going to come out with their hair on fire and they're going to win this game in a decisive fashion. Thank you so much for watching College Football with Sam. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. Again, for the notification bells, don't just hit the bell for my main channel, hit it for any team playlists attached, or if you're not interested in those teams, navigate to my channel homepage, to the playlists tab. There will be a playlist for your favorite team if it's a Power 4 team. Hit the notification bell for that playlist so you can get notified when I mention them or talk about the conference broadly that they reside in. If you want bonus content, sign up as a paid member. And our Discord server is totally free. You get to interact with me and several other diehard football fans in there. So do those things. Most of them are free. And if you want to go the extra mile, there's always the Patreon page and YouTube memberships.